Hey, Spartan fans, welcome into this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter for Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion, joined here by Jacob Cotsonika, who is going to be my replacement starting in, I've got one last week here, but Jacob, Pete's going to be in good hands with you. Very much looking forward to what you're going to do. This game, 23-7, it was, or 6, excuse me, they didn't get that 2-point conversion. Interesting game. Michigan State nearly pulled off the shutout. The defense, held the team scoreless, but if it wasn't for that pick six by Alessio, altogether, what were your impressions of this game?
Well, again, as you said, Tale of Two has first half, pretty much offense firing on all cylinders, boom, 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 touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Then they come back out here for the second half, and it just doesn't really look like the same team, if you ask me. They kind of went away from Frazier and Tullis, and again, I think they were trying to get Childs in a bit of a bigger rhythm. It just, things, they just weren't able to get into a rhythm in general. They had one drive where they were threatening to score, but then there's a free rusher. I think Tullis just didn't pick up the blitz, and then Childs gets strip sacked. So I think it's one of those things, like, they won relatively easily. Western Michigan was never in any position to win this ball game, but there's a lot of things to work on.
And Western, their offense wasn't completely absent. They had some big plays, some home run plays, if you will, and the defense was resilient. We saw some of that last year, too, where they'd get stops. Opponents would press them, and it was a bend but don't break mentality, and that's what that team had last year. It seems like it has that this year. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, like Western Michigan, pretty much almost the vast majority of their offense probably came on 4 to 5 plays. They had a couple games where they'd maybe have 25, 30 yards. I think they had a 40-yarder play in there, but you just didn't see them string together positive plays a whole lot. There wasn't plays where it was like, boom, 6 yards, boom, 8 yards, boom, 10 yards, boom, 5 yards. Like, it was just they were able to have a couple of prayers answered in the passing game, but other than that, Michigan State defense shut them down.
Interesting starting lineup on both sides of the ball. What were some of the starters who kind of surprised you?
I think the biggest surprise was when Caleb Carter, the 2 guard spots. I think a lot of people might have anticipated Christian Phillips to get one of the guard nods. Instead, it was Caleb Carter. I believe he started the game at left guard, and then you saw Gavin Brocious at right guard. I think you might have saw Christian Phillips in one of those spots. We were wondering about Luka Vincic, but Smith said he's dealing with a bit of a foot thing. He should be back soon. So, again, that once he's back and healthy, it'll be interesting to see where they go there at the guard position. But for the most part, people were wondering about the running back position. It seemed to come out late that it would be Frazier and Tullis. That was, in fact, what it was, and both of them were fantastic. Defensively, I think we were a bit surprised at the defensive tackle position. We saw Ben Roberts start the game at one of those spots, but up and down, the depth of Michigan State's defense really showed today.
Yeah, depth was huge. Offensively, there's a lot that you got to fix up, of course. Passing game, it's not great for Michigan State. And in general, the pass blocking wasn't great up front. But run game, you got to feel encouraged if you're a Michigan State fan. See the progress that they made in that department. From what we've been hearing from Smith that they had made strides in that area in fall camp. And then you see it out on the field here today. And honestly, it's kind of the opposite of what I was thinking would happen. I knew the offense I assumed it would take some time for it to get into a rhythm, but I thought the pass would really start to, would override the run, just based on last year and based on all the weapons Aidan Childs has. But really, it was the run game. What did you see there?
You had it right on the nail there. I think we were expecting to maybe see a lot of Aidan Childs throwing it to McCray, throwing it to Marsh, throwing it to Kelly. He did throw it a heck of a lot to Kelly, but not so much to Marsh, and especially not to McCray. But again, the run game to start the game was phenomenal, especially that right side of the offensive line. Like, Mekhi Frazier had a 25, 28-yard run, give or take a few yards there, where you could have driven a semi-truck through the hole that he got. I think it was opened up a lot by Brocious out there at right guard. I think Jay Coyne, the fullback, had a big hand in that too. So overall, I think the assessment, run blocking was fantastic pretty much throughout, but there were a couple of iffy pass blocking reps out there at the tackle position, but Childs seemed to think it was an issue of miscommunication rather than just them getting beat athletically.
Yeah. And Childs, he looked more comfortable out there. There were some overthrows, some of that you told me during the game on the offensive line, and then some of it, you also said this, that he just kind of maybe a little jittery, just, didn't really settle into with his feet. But, overall, I think in terms of decision making, looked a lot better there from him. He said after the game, I asked him about it, that he felt more comfortable. From that standpoint, what did you see from Aidan?
Yeah, I definitely think the comfort was right there. I think ball security is a bit of an issue. He lost a fumble. He fumbled twice today. One of them was a lost fumble. Again, terrible blocking on the play, but he left the ball exposed, and it was a real easy strip sack there down, I believe it was in the fourth quarter. But overall, he didn't really, throwing the ball, he didn't put the ball in really any danger today. I don't think there was any throws where I went, ooh, a Western player might have had a play on it. So a lot of easy stuff. There was a lot of screens, especially early on for Childs. But again, I have a feeling this is not going to be Brian Lindgren's most creative play calling game.
Right.
Again, you're playing Western Michigan, all due respect to them.
Right.
But they got Boston College next week, and that's going to be the type of game where we, I think, really see what type of team we have here.
Yeah, you want to save some things for sure. Okay, real quick. Offensive MVP, defensive MVP.
The offensive MVP, I think you got to go with Mekhi Frazier. 100-yard performance. MSU only had 2 of them last year. One of them was K'Ron Lynch-Adams in the season opener last year, but that was inflated by 160-something yard run. But Frazier was just consistent time and time again. So the fact that he's a true sophomore and he's got 3 seasons left, including this one, that's a point of optimism, I think, in Smith's attempt to build a program here.
Overall, in the run game, you can't say that there was 1 or 2 plays that really made the difference, made it kind of deceptive in the end on the stat sheet. I mean, this was they were chopping you down in the run game, especially that first half. So I think it's very promising. Defensive MVP.
I got Jordan. Again, he had a rough sophomore season last year. Was not a starter after he was a beast as a true freshman. Kind of got demoted into a backup role first year Jonathan Smith. He's back up into a starting role. He's a captain, and he showed why today. 2.5 tackles for a loss. He had a sack. I mean, he was just all over the place. You just kind of look up every other play and there's Jordan Hall making a nice tackle.
Yeah, no, very great effort. So we talked about how it's Western Michigan, and like you said, no disrespect to them, but different level there, obviously. And you're going against probably going to be a better opponent with Boston College. It's a revenge game. And then you've got a tough Big Ten schedule, too, after Youngstown State. Where does this team kind of go from here? I mean, what did we learn about this team today? Are we overreacting? Is there a reason for fans to be hopeful?
I think the thing here is you saw the potential.
Yeah.
I think if they're able to stretch out what they did in that first half for 60 minutes, they're gonna win some football games.
Yeah.
That was legit. I don't know if they had a first half or a true stretch like that. Maybe save the Iowa game last year, where they were playing that well.
Yeah.
So again, if they're able to play a full 60 minutes, there's not many games I see on the schedule where I just kind of, besides Penn State and a couple others, where I'm just out.
Yeah. There's a lot that could be up in the air there. Michigan State, like I said, will be back next week to host Boston College. Going to be a revenge game. Going to be prime time under the lights, 7:30. And man, I know this Spartan team wants to get its revenge. What do they need to do next week to get the dub?
It's going to be turnovers. That was what did them in Chestnut Hill last year. It's going to be looking to Childs. I think he had 3 picks, 3 turnovers, or some combination of the sort in that game, and they still only lost that game by 3. They're going to have home field advantage now. And again, as we said, Childs looks a lot more composed at the start of year 2 than he did in year 1 as the starter here at Michigan State. So again, I think if they take care of the ball and if they're able to keep running the ball, they should be able to come out with a dub.
Live from Spartan Stadium, this was Aidan Champion with Jacob Cotsonika. You guys have a great night. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks.